And Audrey. Okay. Yes.
All
Beautiful.
right. Nobody's putting anything in the chat. You guys, are you shy? Oh, there. Oh, good.
No, I got it. Yeah.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Enthusiastic and grateful. Yes. Thank
Yeah.
you. Um, all right. Well, I think how many of you, I'm curious now, I am going to ask you to put something in the chat. How many of you are like, how familiar, why can I not speak? How familiar are you with the face yoga method? I'm just curious if you're brand new to us. If you've just heard of Fumiko recently and the face yoga method, if you have no idea who I am, Mastery. Okay, you definitely know Sonia. Is there anybody that's really brand new? Yogi Starter Paula.
Sure.
Okay, Mastery.
Mastery.
People in Mastery know and they're familiar with. Okay, because I just am thinking about our introduction.
Yeah. And also it's okay, you never done face yoga before. That's okay because we're gonna teach from zero to the level that you can teach other people.
Oh,
Okay.
good. There's a lot of mastery. Hi, Amel. There's a lot of mastery people in here, at least that are responding, but then we do have a couple starters. So and then I don't know. So, yeah,
Oh,
Audrey, it's a lot when you look at, yeah, I can understand that when you look at things for the first time in any subject, right? It's overwhelming, brand new, medium. Okay. Semi-starter. Okay.
okay.
Okay. Well, just a quick introduction. I know most of you are familiar with Fumiko, but for those of you that are not familiar with me, I am Fumiko's sister-in-law. She's married to my brother. Um, my name's Maria, and we co-founded the business together 12 years ago and basically built it from nothing. And we're going to go into a little bit of the mindset on that. And I run it behind the scenes with our team. But more recently in 2023, I started teaching a lot of classes on mindset and a little bit of business. And because that's what the real secret is. We're going to talk about that today. That's the real secret to our growth and success in not only business, but in anywhere else in life. It's always, what you're thinking behind it. So today we're going to do a short session in the sense that I think, it's probably going to be less than an hour. We're going to talk about, this is all about the teacher certification program, about business mindset, about, I know some applicants, our main concerns are always money investment and then imposter syndrome. Like, who am I to do this? Like, can I really do this? Are people going to want to learn from me kind of thing? So that's what we're going to talk about today, and we're happy to answer any questions. I love when this is interactive and you put things in the chat. Fumiko, do you want to add anything to that as we get started?
I think I want everybody be open-minded because we often think that, oh, I did this before and I didn't, happen the way I wanted. So just let's, be here open-minded and see what is possible. Because like Maria said that when we started this online business, nobody was doing it. And I started this face yoga 20 years ago. Nobody was doing it. And I have to believe what is possible. And there's no doubt in me that this cannot help other people. I've seen so many changes already. So my mind was there, but the actual part was it came much more easily because I had a belief. So for you, come to this place and they just think about everything is possible. So be open and then see what unfold during this 40 minutes or 1 hour session. Yeah.
Okay. You're making me think of something that one of my mentors, I've had many mentors in the personal development space and in the business space over the years, many. And you just made me think of something that one of them said that's always, I mean, many things stick with me, but this one was sparked. And he always says that all progress starts with telling the truth.
Mm.
So many of us, we live in this linear world where if I do X, I'm going to get Y, or if I do A plus A equals B, or whatever it is. And it's very linear. It's how we're programmed. It's how we're trained to think. But there's a lot that in our head that stops us. There's a lot of limiting beliefs that stops us from expanding that consciousness and thinking bigger. And when I say all progress starts with telling the truth, so it starts with telling the truth with like, what do you really want? Let's start with like, what do you really want? Because most people don't even examine what they really want because they think that the world works in a linear way. You know, I go to college, or I go to, you know, I go to school, then I either get a working tradesman job, or I go to college and then I get a higher level job, and then maybe I get married and have some kids. And, you know, they look at everything in a very linear way, but mostly they never stop to think about, what do I really want? Because we are unique beings put on this earth for a reason. We all have a gift to bring out that nobody else can bring out but us. And we're put on here through a higher source, however you want to call it, you know, God, the divine source, universe, however, you know, whatever resonates with you. To bring out our gifts, but not to be programmed into this, you know, matrix, if you will, of how linear things are. And when you stop and you think about, and you really think about it and journal it out, like, what do I really want? And by that, I mean, what do you want to feel on a daily basis? Because the only reason we want anything is because that we want anything, be it a relationship, be it money, be it a new home, whatever it is, be it the perfect child. It's because we want the feeling we think that thing is going to give us. And so it's always for a feeling. I always come back to being a vibrational match in the feeling. So if you think about what you really want, it's like, how do you want to feel every day? Do you want to feel fulfilled, alive, energetic? Like, I always start with that, and then I build out from there. So let me give you an example. And then Fumiko, I'm going to let you go in on this a little bit, because this is such a good place to start, because a lot of people never even tell the truth for what they really want because they think that they can't get it. They think, and I understand that. There's no judgment here. I've thought, I lived in a very linear world for many, many years. And we're going to tell you a little bit about the story of us starting this and what really flipped the switch for us to have an upwards trajectory with our business. But it all started with this kind of work. But so my little story is very recently. So I have a friend, and she's a single mom, and she wants to find a partner, and she found somebody, but I got this sense from the energy that she was putting around it, that it was like she was trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. Like, you know, saying there was never the energy of like, this guy's incredible, I want to be. It was always like, well, he has integrity, he's loyal, he's honest. And of course you want those qualities, but there was never a feeling behind it. And then another guy was in the picture as well. And that guy, there was all this kind of like chemistry and energy with. So long story short, she's now entangled in this web of the two energies of the two different guys, you know, wanting to like have this from one person and this from another, but not 100% of each one. And I've seen it go on, and it's not a good situation, and it makes her very frustrated, and it's not good for them either. And what I said to her very recently is, I said, forget about all that, because she'll bring up all the details, right? Like, so-and-so texted me this, so-and-so did this, so-and-so spent the night, whatever it is. I'm like, forget about all of that right now. You're talking about third world, or not, I don't want to say third world, but you're talking about 3D, the dimensional, you know, you're talking about external circumstance. I said, stop for a minute, pull back, and figure out what you really want. I was like, what do you want in a relationship? Stop trying to make these people be something that they're not. And then you're trying, you know, pull back and think about what you really want. And she, you know, she stopped for a second, but she doesn't do the kind of work that Fumiko and I do. And I never try to push mind work on anybody, but I just see the people that don't do it go through the same cycle over and over again. And she said, I know. And, you know, she doesn't step back and look at that. And then things continue to progress in the same circular way, right? Because she's not being a different version of herself. So Fumiko, do you want to like add to anything on this when you're talking about what people really want?
Sure. Many, you know, I love to use this as an example all the time because I get so excited still. When I get on an airplane, how could you imagine that the heavy metal can fly with so many people with the food, water, and luggages, right? Do you think about it like, oh, this is like, like so heavy that if we fly, no, we just take it for granted. Why? Because somebody invented, I forgot the name, invented why he wanted to invent. It's not because, oh, I want to make a business out of it. No, he wanted to fly like a bird, right? And he thought about, okay, how about if I get a wing? I forgot the history. But when I read the history, so many people trying to invent, like so many balloons and trying to, but now we don't even question it. So why? Because somebody invented out of curiosity, out of excitement, out of not necessity. And now we were just taking it as the way to transport ourselves, such a faster pace, speed, and then go to places, and even the cell phone too. And all the things, car and a bicycle. Like when I think about it, we don't doubt because somebody invented, refined it. So why don't us to be a person who can create and start something completely new, but something exciting? It's not because, okay, I'm going to make this much money by getting a face yoga certificate. No, because it's so exciting, something new, something like you want to explore and expand. Like Maria said that we've been doing this, mindset and working on ourselves because I believe that our job as a human, all of us is ever, never stop growing, like learning
Yeah.
something, what is it? Growing as individual. I think that's the beauty of our life. It's not like, okay, I'm 55. I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to just stay here. Some people like to do it because it's so comfortable. But I want all of us, to be a better version of ourselves. I still have to go struggle up and down. Like one day wake up like, ooh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do one, two, do. But I bring my energy to the level that I feel like, okay, what I want to do in my life. And I bring back an amazing thing about this, mental shift is that it's not linear. You can just switch it like this, like, and then when you switch, you feel like, whoa, what was that? Like I was able to switch so quickly. Can I apply this to something else? And the more you do it, the more you understand the power of switching and then, um, non-linear way of thinking. And that's something definitely, yeah, that's something we want to, share with you during this journey because we've seen so many people's life transformed, not just as face yoga practitioners, but as a teacher, because they were able to get out of their comfort zone and they look back and then so many say like, oh my gosh, I'm so different after we finish, after I finished this TCC. So that's how we feel, so powerful that this journey can be. And yeah,
The
that's what I
level
say.
of consciousness. Yeah. So let's, for those that don't know, I know some of you know this story because you've taken some of my classes, but I'm going to give a quick brief story of when and how we started this business and what happened. So I've known Fumiko for probably more than 15 years at this. I always say 15 years, but I'm like, I said 15 years 3 years ago. So probably, 16, 17, 18 years. I'm not even sure. I should look up. But in any case, when we first started, so prior to that, so I met Fumiko when I was in my mid 40s, I think I'm 58 now. And prior to that, I had, so up to my mid 40s, I had done many different things in my life in terms of work, right? Of like work that made money and worked for different people, worked for some entrepreneurs. I've always had a very entrepreneurial spirit and struggled. So I always had enough to pay the rent, right? But I struggled. Like I always wanted more abundance in my life. And it's not that I wasn't willing to do the work. I've always been willing to do the work. I'm like, I'll work the hardest. I'll work till midnight every night. Da, 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 da. I was like, I'll go in for the hustle and grind, whatever it takes. What I didn't realize at the time was that that was one of the biggest problems because I was changing how I was like physically. I was the more masculine energy, hustle, grind, work harder, but I was not changing who I actually was as a being and what was possible. So it wasn't until my mid 40s when I literally Googled because I realized I would look in these Facebook groups of entrepreneurs I was in, and I would see these younger guys they talk about their success with using this or doing that or whatever. And I thought, well, I'm never going to think the way these guys think. I don't have these ideas. Oh, thank you, Vanessa. That's very sweet. Yeah, I'm going to be 59 in April, which is crazy. I was like, I don't have the same ideas as them, but I'm like, and I'm not supposed to have the same ideas as them, but I'm like, I need to think differently. So I literally Googled in Google, I typed in, this was like at a night of just pure frustration for like, I'm mid 40s. I don't want the rest of my life to have financial struggle. I don't want to feel like this. I don't want to hustle and grind. And clearly it hasn't worked up to this point. Something's got to shift. And so I Googled how to think differently because it was the only thing I could think of. And so that set me down this journey. The first book I think I found was Dr. Joe Dispenza's Big Fat, book that was super nerdy. I love him. Been to many of his events with Fumiko, but it's dense. It was like a lot. And about the neuroscience and the science of the brain. And I just was like, oh, this is it. Like a light bulb just switched for me. And so for the past 13, 14 years, I've just been on this journey of self-development and discovery. And it just every year it gets better and better and better because my understanding of this material and of what's available and what's possible to us gets better and better and better. Someone asked me the other day, because I said, every month even I'm a different version of myself. And by that, I mean an elevated version. And he was like, well, what do you mean by that? Like, how are you different from like the person you were 5 or 10 years ago? And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I can't even, I gave a couple specific examples and one of them was judgment. Like I used to judge a lot, not only other people or other situations or the way other people thought, but I would judge myself, right? I would have so much judgment towards myself. I can't believe you're, 44 years old and you haven't achieved this. I can't believe you're this. I can't, just all this like insanity that was holding me back. So I started down that journey. And it was when I started down that journey that then Fumiko and I met in the physical world. And it still took us like 2 or 3 years to start our business after we met because she wasn't ready on her journey. And in fact, little did I know it, I was constantly ascending, right? And so I went off and I started this online marketing consulting business. And by the time we connected to start our business, when Fumiko was ready, now I had this great experience behind me in online marketing. And so was able to bring it to our business. So it was when we brought this change of consciousness, and Fumiko, I'm going to let you talk about your change of consciousness to what was available. Because when I first spoke to her, she was like, I don't understand. How are we going to do this online? Like I have always taught people in person. How's this going to work? And she put trust in me, thank God. And then we built it and we got to a certain point, right? And at first our big dreams were like, let's sell an ebook. And then it was like, let's sell this little course. But we weren't the version of ourselves that we are now, where we could even have the vision of TCC. But as our business started to grow and our confidence expanded, we started to expand. And the more work we did with our brains, right? With our brains and our way of thinking, the more everything started to expand. Now I can cast a much bigger vision, much faster, much faster. We can both quantum leap. But had I known this material back 15 years ago, it would have happened faster. And that's what we want to bring to you, is that like all these emails that we get from people saying, I really want to do this, but I'm not sure about the investment, or there's other courses out there. We're very transparent. I'm not here to like convince you of anything. What I will tell you is when you're done with TCC, you will be a different version of yourself if you actually do it. It's not just a version that knows a bunch of face yoga poses. That's not. You're going to know them, the poses inside and out, but you will be a different person. It's an ascension into becoming a different version of yourself, and a version that is much more expanded in consciousness, and a version that knows how to teach in the 3D world, and a version that knows how to cast a vision, because we're actually going to put in more. I'm going to be teaching a specific I'm still figuring out the curriculum for it, but how to create your business the way you want to create it, because everybody has a different thing that they want, right? Like the relationship or the business that I want is probably very different from the relation or business that somebody else wants. And here's the thing, whatever you want, when you truly get in touch in that, it's possible. So Fumiko, do you want to add to this about our journey a little bit more?
Sure. Yeah, I really wish that we had, well, I had no, this mindset, like a possibility of a quantum leap. But my story is I don't know how many of you know, I got in a car accident over 20 years ago. So I could have been dead right there on the spot. And I'm so lucky that I survived. I was actually told in ambulance, like at the paramedic said, like, you could be dead right there. So I felt like I got a second chance, right? And being teacher since I was, gosh, I don't know, I started tutoring students when I was high school and a college, and I was teaching high school and a college in Japan. So I was a teacher all the time my life, pretty much. And then when a car accident happened, I became very asymmetrical. My face started showing the sign of aging, and everything was just not me. I feel like, oh, it's just not me. I felt young and energetic inside, but it just didn't show. I hated it. The more I try something, I felt like a separation. Like that's not me. And I don't have many pictures from that time because I didn't like it at all. But when I started moving the face muscles, start seeing the changes, people started asking me what I was doing differently, like the energy Maria was talking about. What happening? You look different. Do you have a new boyfriend? Like, what is it? When my mother said, "Did you do this?" That was when, like, okay, it's working. I still had the resistance of teaching this to people though. Why? Because I just didn't know, like, why it's working. I just didn't know. I didn't know that the mind is so much powerful. And then when I apply mindset, like doing something for myself, and then physically practicing, giving me the results I was looking for. I didn't put them together for a longest time. But when I finally started teaching, like 20 years ago, nobody was doing it. So people loved it, loved the result. I got the sponsorship and the TV shows and everything just happening. So I quit my job teaching at the university. My parents hated it. Like, why you leave the job? Such a stable job, good job, right? You can stay there forever. Why you leave? Not only that, my mom was asked by her friend. She said, like, why your daughter is doing the funny faces on TV? And my mom was a little like, offended because it was not the job, let's say, quote unquote job people are doing, making money. And then not only that, a good friend of mine asked me if I lost a pride. Like, did you lose pride? Why you have to make funny faces? Because funny faces, now it's okay. But I just didn't understand why people have to come to me to push my excitement. But I kept doing it because I saw changes, my students and the people I was teaching. It was a long journey though, because like I said, I could not put the mindset and then the physical changes together. So I was struggling, like, okay, I'm going to do it. I was doing it because I had no doubt that this, cannot change people's face. It was able to, I was seeing the result, but the mindset was a missing piece. So when Maria and I started 20 years ago, I still wasn't planning to certify people. We just wrote the ebook and okay, sell the ebook. That was it. That was our plan. So sell the ebook and then we pay the rent. And then I started getting requests from people like, can you certify? I said, no, I'm not going to certify because it is too much. How can I download the information I've been doing over the internet? But one guy, he's a nurse from Japan and he lived in Japan. He asked me if I could certify him. Like, oh, I don't want to do it. He waited 2 years. He just kept asking me, like, can you certify me? Certify me. The reason is not because he wanted to be business out of it, because he wanted to help his patient because he was working at hospital, right? He saw the potential of helping his patients to be better, feel better. And that's why he wanted to get certified. So after 2 years of all the push he gave me, I'm like, okay, I do it. So I certified him in person and he loved it. It's great over there in Japan. And then people started asking us online certification, like, but I have to push myself out of comfort zone because when I saw the changes, I have to bring my awareness, like, what is possible? What I want to do. I can't teach, I don't want to teach like 12 hours every day. And I want people to teach and to share this message. So I created, it took me 2 years or so. And then we did it. That was like what, 6, 7 years ago. And we have so many certified teachers. But I'm just love to see all those teachers blossoming and changing the people's life and changing their mindset. And when I look at it, like, whoa, I'm so glad I didn't stop there. I didn't stop at the place of fear, but I pushed myself. And then now I see it, what is possible. And I want to keep growing this movement. And you are going to be ambassador if you join TCC, that you can share this message to the people around you.
Yeah. So I want to address one of the things that comes up a lot is like, or the question that I see, and I'm like, okay, I understand where they're coming from, but it's a very linear way of thinking. And when I say linear, just to explain, because I know some people, English isn't the first language, and sometimes the metaphors get lost. I mean, like it's this straight line, right? Like, and that, like a job to me where you get people look at money oftentimes as linear. Like, okay, the only way more money is going to come in my life is if I get a raise in my job that, raises me by 5% or 10%, or I get a job that pays me X amount. I'm going to make X amount every year. And then I'm going to get, 2 weeks of vacation or whatever it is. Like that is a very linear way. And then you don't allow or even think that there's any possibility of any more abundance coming into your life. That is a very, very linear way of looking at things. And if you are living, I'm thinking about how much I want to go into this subject because it's like such a big subject that I've taught about. So I want to make this simple. If you are living at that level of consciousness of abundance, you will continue to always have that. So it's a choice, right? Like I changed my consciousness around abundance. I changed my consciousness around money, and I continue to elevate it constantly. It's super fun. But if I were to constantly live linearly, like if I do X, I'm going to get Y. If I pay this, I'm going to get this. That's all I'm going to get, right? So the reason I bring this up is because we get these emails, and I've seen the same question come up over and over when they talk about the investment. And I'm like, this is so interesting. This is like how humans are programmed to think. It says, how quickly can I make back my investment? As if this were a scientific answer. It's not a scientific answer. The answer is up to you. It's totally up to you. You could make it back in a day if you had that. You could make it back before you've even finished the course if you have that consciousness around it. Or you could plan out something and make it back in exactly 3 months and 5 months. Like there's no scientific answer to this question. It's completely up to you. So I'm going to reiterate the story. Like we've had, Fumiko, how many people have we had graduated from the program at this point? 1,000, maybe?
Over 1,000. Yeah.
Something around there. So, and you will find graduates from the program at every level, right? Somebody who's made nothing, maybe because they just didn't even care. A lot of people have done it for just their own self-knowledge, and they're not even attempting to do any sort of business, and people that are making over $20,000, $30,000 a month. Like it goes from one to the other. And the difference between this person and this person is the desire and the consciousness, right? So Nadine, who's one of our graduates, and I love to use her story because she's been very public with her story. Not everyone's as public, so I'm very respectful. Like people will write us and ask us certain questions like, how many of your students have done X, or how many have done Y, or da. Like when you're asking those questions, I'm just going to tell you very bluntly, you're asking the wrong questions. Because those questions are not going to further your journey. Instead, you want to ask, what can I do? And I love that there can be an example, because each person's journey is up to them. So I love it when you see someone that it's a higher level of example. Like for me, I've gone to many entrepreneurial events, right? And there'll be like 5,000 people in the room from like people that are literally billionaires to people that, the majority of them are brand new to entrepreneurialism. And so they're like at this level. Now, out of those 5,000, I don't really know how many people went on, after that event to go start a successful business. And how many people like did nothing with the material. I don't it doesn't really matter to me. Because I know enough of the successful ones, like that's the energy that I hang out in, that's the energy I follow online, because the rest of it doesn't matter, because I'm deciding my future. I'm deciding my world. So with Nadine, what she did is, and Nadine's very public with it. So going back to what I was saying, there's some people that don't want us to be public with what they're doing. And I'm fine with that. Like whatever it is, like you do you. But she's very public. So she's allowed us to tell her story. And in fact, she rejoices in telling her story, which is a beautiful thing because she attracts more people to her because of it. And she gives me updates occasionally. And so the day she graduated, which was in November of 22, so a year and a half, almost 2 years ago, she posted on her Instagram, she had just graduated this teacher certification course, and she had borrowed money from her boyfriend to take the course. She was a dance teacher, and she was like, I don't have enough money to invest in the course, but I really want to take it. And her energy and her consciousness was 100% there. So she borrowed money from her boyfriend. And then the very first day she graduated with enthusiasm, and it's always the energy, right? She put on her Instagram that she had just graduated this course, and she's in Germany, speaks German. And she had 40 or 50 people reach out to her immediately. And for me, that's an energetic thing, because somebody else can also do that. They can graduate and put it on their Instagram, and it's like crickets. But you don't give up when there's crickets, right? And by crickets, I mean nothing. Nadine had this contagious energy behind her. And now she's ascended, and I mean, last time I heard from her, it was like over 20K a month. And I'm sure that was a while ago. So I'm sure she's doing, and just all these doors and these worlds have opened up to her. And you can go find her online or in our community if you want to know more details. But here's the thing. The details can be inspiring, but they don't really matter that much, because you're not going to try to replicate Nadine's path. I mean, maybe you are. It's good to have the inspiration. Like I've seen so many entrepreneurs on stage, and there's no way that I can do each strategy or copy each thing that each person is doing or have each business. I had to do my own path, right? That's what Fumiko and I are creating. There's no way I can do all that other stuff. And that's where this energy work comes in. I had to really get in the spirit of how I wanted to feel, what I wanted to have, how I wanted my days to look like, how much money I wanted to make, all that kind of stuff, and then create from there, because we're all individuals and we all want different things. So we always say that face yoga is mind, body, spirit. And it is. It's a very, very holistic approach to aging. But I'm just going to flip that a little, something I was thinking about today. It's really because as a society, we're trained to say mind, body, spirit. I don't know how, right? Fumiko, is that how you always say it? Like mind, body, spirit? Okay, so I want you to think of it. This is a big flip, because if you think about this, when to any activity, any relationship, anything that you're entering into, even if it's like cooking your dinner, if you enter it into, just flip that and take spirit first, then mind, and then body. So spirit is the feminine energy. That's the energy of like, how do I feel about this thing? I'm excited to meet this person. I'm excited to create this dinner for my family with love. Like, what is the spirit that you're bringing to whatever you're doing? And that's like the spirit. What do I feel about like doing this TCC thing? What, and we're going to go way into it as we get further in the, because I'm doing a special thing for you guys. Like, who are my ideal clients? Like, how do I want them? What results do I want to get for them? We're not going to go into that today, but the spirits first. Then once you've gotten the spirit there, then the mind starts to change, right? Like all those linear thoughts start to like melt away, because the spirit is so much bigger. And so the mind starts to change its thoughts, like, ooh, what if this was possible? Or what if I could like transform this person's life? Or what if I could make the most delicious dinner for my family tonight and they all felt so nurtured and taken care of? Whatever it is, right? So if you switch it to spirit, mind, and then body's the mechanical action, right? So body's the 3D world that we live in. It's these actual 3D things. It's us interacting on Zoom. That's the 3D. But most of us create from the 3D. We start with the body first. And that's what the past version of myself did. I was like, that's so great. I'm going to work 12 hours every day. I'm going to be, make X amount of money and blah, blah, blah. Like I got it all wrong. And when you flip that and you start with spirit first, I'm sorry, and the spirit changes the way you think in the mind, then your body, which is the mechanical actions you take, which are very necessary. I'm not saying they're not necessary, but you need to come from them with the right spirit. And they're the more masculine energy. In a beautiful way, then the actions that you take are actually very different than they would be if you flipped it on the reverse. And that's what I want you all to think about when you're thinking about this. So that's why I'm like, when I see questions like, how fast can I make my investment back? I'm like, you're thinking in a very linear way, and it's going to limit you. So I hope that that makes sense. Fumiko, you're nodding your head.
No, I just was thinking about one story from Joe Dispenza, neuroscientist, right? He had a good example. One of the event we went, he was talking about how our body are affected by our mind. He was saying, okay, imagine you're Friday driving home, rainy day, you're so tired, you're gonna go home, eat pizza and watch movie and drink beer, exhausted. And then the hot date called you like, hey, can we get together? What do? Like your energy just chill. Okay, take a shower and then just do a hair and then, clean up everything and then make some beautiful arrangement and buy a flower and you're ready. Your body is the same. But because you're going to have a hot date instantly, that one fun conversation changes your body chemistry. And I love that example because that's so true. Sometimes like, I'm so tired. Got a nice text message. Ooh, I changed my energy instantly. It's just so powerful, but we don't even think about it. One example I want to talk about it too. I just remember that when I was doing a lots of TV shows in Japan, I did the, what do you call that? The QVC type of show. I was selling my product. It was a V-shape and a massager. And the first show, I was so nervous. I just didn't know what to say. So the company who made that, my product said, oh, just do whatever you feel like it. So I just did. Crazy. I don't know what I was saying. People didn't know what I was saying, but I was so excited because that was my first product, a design, V-shape, right? I sold it out, like that sold out in 40 minutes. And the people just didn't know why I did it. Sold out. It never happened. It was like, close to a couple, I think it was close to 8,000, no, $800,000 or something, like bam, in 80 minutes. No, 40 minutes, right? So the company, we start talking about it, strategy. Okay, Fumiko, the first 5 minutes, let's say this. And 10 minutes, explain this. And 20 minutes in, you started selling it. I could sell it because my energy was just, and I was thinking about how I should sell it. Does it make sense? So my excitement was just so flat. So that's what sometimes happens when you start thinking, okay, how much money I can make if I graduated, and then your energy feel like, if you get excited, go for it. If you like that kind of, strategy, I think it's perfect for you. But if you're not like, that's not my thing, just tap into the excitement. What excites you and why you are here today? Maybe there's a reason you are here, right? You wanted to do something, and there's something that excites you, ignite you. And I think by kind of kindling it and finding and giving that, love and attention to that little excitement, you can expand more. I mean, that's my own experience, but everybody has that excitement somewhere and some part. And I think our job is just keep looking at it and then expanding that excitement.
I love that story, Fumiko. I love that story. And you actually, the way you said it, even I can feel the energy because you're remembering, right?
Yeah, it was crazy.
And you're talking about flow. You were just got into this flow state, and it doesn't have to be scripted. You don't have to be somebody else's directed version of you in order to attract all these people to come and buy that product. And it's so interesting because I'm reading all your comments. And Amel, thank you so much for everything beautiful that you say. I love your personality too. But you said something. You said great personality, Nadine, and Nadine does have a great personality. But so this is what we do as humans. We look at the other human who's being successful in what we want, and you're like, oh, I'm not like that. I don't know. I don't know if I could ever do this. I don't know if I could be like her. You're not supposed to be her. You're not supposed to be Nadine. You're supposed to be the unfiltered, like most beautiful, actualized version of yourself. And that comes from, and that's what people are going to be attracted to, because not everybody's going to be attracted to Nadine. I mean, think about all, like, I take yoga for the body. I take classes all the time. You know, I've been doing it over 30 years and I go to in-person classes all the time. Like and I go to the classes based on the teacher. I do not go to the class based on, oh, you're going to teach Bikram yoga. No, I go 100% based on the teacher. And for me, and then there's other teachers that if they have like a cult like following that people just love, they don't resonate with me. Here's the thing, it doesn't really matter, because what happens is when you're being your most authentic self, and we're going to talk about that more when I do my class for you all, when you start a business with those who are in TCC, when you're the most you can actually be without all these like binding thoughts, these limiting thoughts, and these ideas that we've been programmed with by society or our parents or whatever, our culture for decades. When you can release that and you can create your own vision, you become the most authentic version of you that attracts. Exactly. Because people will look at Fumiko and say, well, I don't look like that. I don't look, my skin's not as smooth, or I have more wrinkles or whatever. It doesn't matter. People are going to be attracted to your energy. I take, workout classes all the time with people that have a very different shaped body than me, that are either older or younger or whatever. That's not why I'm in their workout class. I know that they know what they're talking about, and I'm very attracted to their energy. So thank you for, yeah, you are unique. So thank you for putting these comments, because they inspire me to like think about things. And you're right, Elizabeth, it's the difference between inspiration and motivation. Motivation is like a word where I'm like, bah! Like, it's like, oh, I got to motivate myself to get up off the couch to go to the gym. It just sounds so hard. It sounds so like not inspired. Whereas if you're working, oh my gosh, I'm going on one of my, I'm going to do this and then I'll let you say, Fumiko, and we can wrap it up. Whereas if you're working from because I've talked about this in the classes I teach in Mastery, if you're working from motivation, it's very hard. It's the hustle and the grind, right? How many times have you had people, it's the new year, right? And they're like, okay, I'm motivated to stop drinking, to lose weight, to not eat sugar, to go to the gym every day or whatever. And then they're done by 2 weeks into January. It's like, how's that thing going? Oh, well, I stopped. Yeah, because the energy behind it, there's no vision. There's no real energy behind it. It's more just something they feel like they like the idea of having a more healthy body or whatever it is, but they're not really inspired to do that because they're not living from a vision. They're usually living from their past, right? So when you cast a vision for what you want, and that vision includes how you're going to feel as the future version of you, everything changes. Like, somebody put in here that I look good for my age, and I really, really appreciate that. I'm very grateful. And here's the thing. I decided a long time ago that society's vision of like what you have to look like as you age in your 50s or your 60s or your 70s or whatever it is, that's somebody, people will be like, oh my God, once you turn 55, everything goes downhill and blah, 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 blah. I'm sorry, I call BS on all that. Like, if you want to live like that, that's fine. So I decided a long time ago, I block that stuff out. I don't argue with people on it. And of course, certain changes happen in my body, but I live from a vision that I am going to be the healthiest, best, most glowing, inspired version of myself, because I love life and that's how I want to feel in life. And when I live from that vision, I get excited to go to the gym. But I find a friend that wants to go with me. I find a gym class that I really like. I find a yoga teacher that I love. And I think what a gift this is to me when I'm able to take care of my skin and my body and my health, and I get my 8 hours of sleep and eat my delicious, healthy foods, and I make that a priority. I know that then I get to glow. I get to be this version of myself, and I love it. But I'm living from that vision. Whereas if I were to live from society's vision of like, when you turn 50, this happens. When you turn 60, this happens. When you turn 70, this happens. Like, it's nonsense. It's nonsense. So I look at different people. I often try to find somebody, either in my immediate circle or a well-known person or somebody online, an influencer, that I'm like, wow, look at that person. Look what they did. Like, that is super inspiring to me. And I zone in on that. Not that I try to replicate exactly what they're doing, but they're a source of inspiration. I do not listen to all of the other blah, 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 blahs that have to happen. And that's the way we're programmed. And in America, it's a drug culture, right? It's like, I rarely go to the doctor. In fact, people get mad at me because I don't go to the doctor. And I'm not kidding when I say that, because I literally don't have like a regular doctor, because I'm like, okay, if I have a teeny bit of a sore throat, which I don't even have, but if I do, I'm like, what's the doctor going to do? They're going to prescribe some drug. And I'm not saying doctors are bad. They're, definitely, I believe in Western medicine for many things, especially in an emergency. But the drugs that were prescribed to just, oh, you're feeling sad, have a depressant. Oh, you have diabetes, take this. Oh, you have this. And I'm not making a judgment on anybody who takes a drug or who, has an illness. That's not what this is about. What I'm saying is I believe that our bodies, we already organically have everything we need. For the most part, if we do the right things. So I live in this consciousness of health, knowing I can create the body and the health that I want to. So because I live from that vision, I do all of the mechanical things, right? I have the spirit first. Then it creates the mindset. Then I do the body. Then I do the things. Like I really do work out every day. I really do eat nutritiously. I really do go to sleep at a pretty regular time and get all those things. So my results are different, and I don't have to go on drugs for anything. And America has programmed us to be a drug culture. The littlest thing is off, and they're like, here's a drug, here's a drug. I envy you Europeans that don't live in this culture. It's horrible. And there's a huge political and, as we all know, and monetary agenda behind it. But okay, I'm kind of going on a rant. So Vanessa.
So I'm gonna spill it, but I'm writing a book now. So body, mind, spirit, but I'm gonna change it, spirit, mind, body, because now I totally, I think it's so powerful. But the TCC, back to TCC, I've heard so many graduates when they go through the program, they find their strengths. We do the exercise, we do the actually assignment, ask you what's your strengths, because I don't want people just focus on, where focus go, energy flow, right? I don't want people focus on, I have to change in order to be successful. I was so scared at first to do this online because I don't speak, I speak English, but English is not my first language. And I'm not the young, or I'm not old enough to teach this face yoga. Like I feel like, I don't know where I need to stand. And then I need to really find, okay, this is me. I cannot be a different person. I have to be who I am and focus on my strengths. So we teach that while we go through that in TCC, because I want you to find your strengths and I want to know who you are, but also I want you to connect yourself, your body awareness, because we can't separate our spirit and a body. That's why the beautifully, when you combine this is so powerful, especially when you teach too. And the age, I've had so many students say, oh, am I too old to teach this? No, if you are old, I don't know how old, it's all relevant, right? But we have had a students, she started when she was 74. Now she's in late 70s. She loves it. Why? She attracts the people. Now, her age range. Those students do not want to take a class from 20 years old women. Does it make sense? So that's your strengths. And then, yes, I'm Asian and English is my second language. I hated it at first. Like, I can't do it. And Maria said, just put something on internet. Oh, YouTube, something, just put something like, what do you mean something? I had all the poses, but I made a first video. I think some of you heard it. 5 minutes video. It took me 6 hours. And then couple wine, red wine, because I wanted to make it perfect. But what is a perfect? What does it mean being perfect? Like, I just have to be authentic. The message I wanted to share have to come from my heart, not just like, oh, I missed the pronunciation, like, oh, that was instead of and all the little things just stop me. 6 hours. I don't do it anymore because that's not who I am. When I was doing it, I needed a wine in order to make me feel good. But the point is that, like, I want you really tap into the excitement. So Maria got excited, when she was talking about it, because that's thing. And that's what you learn in TCC too. And I get excited when I teach the poses or all the connections, releasing, because like, that's my thing. I love it so much that I cannot help myself but keep learning. And I want you to think about what excites you, and then your uniqueness. So your age, if you're young, welcome. You can spread the message prevention. If you're old, wonderful. You can have lots and lots of people who wants to take that class because of who you are. Yeah, I love it. Yeah. So that's what I wanted to add.
Thank you, Fumiko. I love that. I really love that. So I think, okay, I want to keep us under an hour, and if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. So for those of you that are in Mastery, you know that I do mindset classes in there, which I love. That was a change. That was me coming into this new version of myself. And I am going to do one for TCC. It's a business mindset module that brings in some of the mechanics of business, but mostly the consciousness around it, but definitely some of the mechanics. And so that's going to happen for anybody that's in the TCC class. I think we're going to do it. I'm not sure when, either in late summer or the fall, but that will be part of TCC that will be included in it. So any of you that want to join, you know that our early bird special ends the end of this month, which I think we have a week left. We're the 24th, and this is a 31-day month. Yes, we have about a week left. Oh, can you see Audrey? Oh, well, this is my olive. I love that Emil's saying that. And I'll tell that story really quick for those people that don't know it, because this is a beautiful way to end this session. Emil is she's taken a lot. I see her all the time in my mindset courses. She just finished. Okay, so this is Olive that's behind me. This is my tree. I call her Olive because she's a black olive. I have this other tree right in front of me that you actually can't see in the camera. And her name, she's an Audrey ficus. So I call her Audrey. And just a month ago, it's crazy to me, this was a month ago. And then I'll show you Audrey and we'll wrap this up. Audrey was in my front hallway, and I'd had her for like 2 or 3 years. And she was always great, right? But she was big. She was growing. Oh, can you see her? Oh, you're right. That's her right there. See how big she is? And she was, I was just blocking her. You're right. She lost all her leaves, like everything, just gone. All of a sudden, there was like 2 leaves left. And I was like, oh my God, my plant's dead. Like, I can't believe my plant just died. And I was so sad because she's this huge ficus. And this was only like a month ago. And I'm not a green thumb. Like, I don't really know how to take care of plants. And it was this big tree and it felt like overwhelming. And I literally, now this is embarrassing to admit, and I know Emil's kind of like laughs at me for this.
Nope. Mario got frozen. Hello. Okay. She's frozen, right? Yeah. Okay. Maria got frozen. So I can continue the story because I know the story. Yes, Maria doesn't have a green thumb. I used to give her just orchid because orchid is so easy to take care of it. But anyway, so she decided to do something. She was about to throw it away because that was not doing anything good. But then her sister, she has 5 sisters. One of them, helped her. Maybe she need to repot it or change the soil. So she took it out, and then she saw so many. Oh, she's gone. Okay, I hope I remember the story correctly. But when she saw that, the tree, there's lots of things she need to kind of like, get out, because the roots were kind of what do you call that? Too tight, and they needed a little bit more new soil and a plant. And she took all out. She thought she killed that plant. But what happened was that putting in a new soil started growing. So you have to take all the things no longer needed. And I have to do the same thing for my plant too. Sometimes we just keep things in a container that like all the things stayed there. We need to replace. We need to get rid of it and then get the new nutrient. And that's what happened to the tree. And that tree is doing so good. And I like that story too, because I think it's rooted. We live in, I don't know how old you are. The more we live, the longer we live, we have so many baggages. Past experiences create who we are right now. Past success story, believe that we are able to do this. But the failures we've done, like, we couldn't do it. That's create our belief. So can we shift that energy? Can we change the mindset by taking all the things no longer needed or old soil, like a plant, and then root it and then just take it out and then put the new container and then new soil and it grow really quickly. And I think that's something I really believe that we can do it anytime. And this process of rooting, taking it out and just changing, it's scary because I think Maria thought she killed it. And it was scary to do that. But now she's so happy she did it. But anyway, let me go back to the last chance, on the call with the graduate. Let me go through this because that was supposed to be Maria's role, but I'm going to do it. Okay. So there's the offer. So new business mindset module where Maria did it. And also she's going to do again, we'll be going over how to build a bulletproof business mindset that will lead you to success. And she really, you can tell that's her passion. She done so many, studies and going to all the mindset, I don't know, study group, but also workshops and the conventions and all that. I've been there too. And then she wants to really show you and give that to you. And a mindset module, yeah. And last chance to get on a call with a graduate. We have so many graduate, but probably you want to hear not from us, but graduate who actually went through this program. You can call with, you can have a one-on-one call. And is okay. Sorry, I'm gonna do it again. Last chance to get on a call with a graduate after your application is accepted. Last week to redeem super early bird offer is January 31st. So super early bird offer is $4,500 or 8 payment of $625 monthly payment. And complete an application and enroll by January 31st to receive over $1,500 in discount and bonuses. Okay. So I want to just tell you that, you are here. That means you are interested in learning face yoga and teaching face yoga and sharing the method to other people. And I want to take questions, anything you want to hear from us or Maria, hopefully she can come back. Please put in a chat and we will go over the questions and I'm going to answer. I think there's another question already got from people. Okay, let's see. Carol asked, can you give me the company's statistics on how the graduate fare after completing the course? What percentage people go on build their own business out of the group? What is a percentage breakdown and the range of annual income? I would like any additional details you can provide. For example, I took another course and learned that 50% of graduates go on to make 6 figures a year in income. Gosh, Carol, to be honest, this is not my strengths or it's not, something I always follow. I know that there's many times people start a business. I don't know the percentage. I don't know if Tim can help me, but as far as I know the number, I think more than 50% of people start a business within 2 months or so and then continue. I don't know the percentage of all these numbers you want to know, like how many people make 6 figures in a year. I don't know. I think that's probably the mindset too, because mindset is so important. It's up to you how many classes you want to teach. One of the graduate, now she's a mastery coaches. I think many of you know Naomi. I think it took her 3 months or 4 months to pay all the, course fee, but she was teaching only 1 class a week, just 1 class a week. That was it. So that's possible. If you want to teach 2 classes a week, yes, she was able to probably pay the cost of class, TCC class in 2 months. Or if she taught 3, okay, 3 classes a week, she was able to do it in a month and a half. So you can do the math, but that's what I know, exact number. She told me that too. Okay, and then here, and I'm going to answer some of the other questions too. All right. Okay. Celia, Celia, how much time do we have to complete the training? I'm scared of the investment and not being able to complete it on time. So the course itself is a 6 months, right? And then requirement of the study time is about 5 to 6 hours a week. So that means 1 hour a week, but that's not for that's for the average. And you can even do 3 hours if you can speed up the replay speed. And assignment can be done. One assignment you have to done for sure by August. I think they're the deadline. But the rest of the assignment can be done before you get certified. So like September is assignment due date. So you can really do self-paced instead of like, I have to do it every day. No, you can do it. You can do on weekends too if you want to, block your time and then study on weekends. It's a self-paced. So you don't need to sit and then, watch all the live classes because everything is recorded. Okay. Right. Oh, okay. Here you go. So Celia says, thanks in that case, do I have to start again from scratch or will the lesson already done be maintained and will I have to pay an extra? Okay, so I'm not quite sure the question. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna just read again. Okay, so do I have to start again for the scratch? Oh, okay, got it. Okay. So if you cannot complete in 6 months, you have to start it again from scratch. No, you don't need to start from scratch. No, you can just take where you left. And then if you decided to postpone your certification, you have to pay a fee, but you can start where you left off. Okay. Yep. And how many classes a week? The classes are not per week, but the six hours I said in a week is probably that hour you want to invest, your time. I know 6 hours seems a lot, but how many hours you're checking your phone or how many hours you're doing something that you're not really excited about? So go back to the mindset. You can focus on what you makes you excited, which I hope is a TCC. And then 1 hour goes really quickly too. Another thing is that what's the name of the one? How many classes a week? So we have we have a gosh, I can't remember exact number workshop, but we have one live classes from me monthly and then 2 classes from the certified coaches, TCC certified teachers. They're gonna teach you what's called that the Q, and they're gonna do a Q&A. Maria from Greece, she's gonna do Q&A. So anything you have a question about the module, when the module release, you can ask her and she'll answer. And then Naomi, she's also a certified teacher. She will do a teaching workshop. So she's gonna give you how to be a teacher, and also they're gonna do a breakup session so that you can sit in a place that you can teach other students how to be a teacher. Does it make sense? And you can experience how it's like to teach other people. And that's part of the practice. And that's part of the live session you can get too. Okay. And then another one is and then you can access anytime. So there is a specific time to access them. No, after the live sessions, that means live workshops, we're going to have a replay within 24 hours. So you can watch replay anytime. Okay, after that. Okay. And then this one from Kim, how will the bonus of 4-month mastery apply to students who is already in a mastery program? Write to the team, info at faceyogamethod.com, and they can answer to your questions. And probably you can, talk to them. Okay, here we go. All right. And another one, sorry, I'm gonna just go through. Okay, so Julie says, fantastic. Approximately what are the days time when the 3 monthly workshop occur? Thank you. All right, so I usually teach at 10 o'clock because I'm living in Pacific Standard Time, California, right? And Naomi lives in Hawaii. So her classes will be a little different time zone. And now Maria, who lives in Europe, she teaches later in the day so that it tried to cover all the time zone as much as possible. And then, of course, there's replay. Okay. All right. And then another one, Jacqueline. So Face Yoga Method team said, regarding mastery, if you have an active subscriptions, we'll reach out to you as soon as you enroll and update your next church date. Yay. Okay. Thank you, team. All right. So anything else? Okay. And last question, Jacqueline, is a certification fee in addition to tuition? If so, how much is certification? Is there an ongoing fee after that to continue to be certified teacher? All right, so super early bird offer, $4,500, that's it. So there's no ongoing fee after you got certified. Okay, yep, so it's really good deal. When you apply, if you're interested to be a certified teacher, apply by January 1st because you can get over 1,500 discount and bonuses. Okay. Yep. All right. Okay. And the last question. Okay. Svetiana. Okay. How can you get a client if you do not have a result yourself from Face Yoga? You have to use Face Yoga first to show people result, isn't it? Okay, I love that question too. So in that process of getting certified, we practice, you practice, right? We talk about how to change the posture, release and align, all that. So you started changing. I'm going to ask you to take before after photos too. So you take a before, you take after photo, we compare, we see it. So in the process, you'll get changes. And you change your mindset too, and it started showing. So don't worry about it. Okay. And then the clients get attracted to you, not because you have certain skin, because your energy, because your personality, because all the things you offer. Okay. I have a lots of things I want to change, but I'm working on it. Okay. So I think that's all. I think I answered all the questions. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. So I'm going to just repeat again one more time. So this is the last chance to get on a call with a graduate after your application is accepted. And also last week to redeem super early bird offer, which is $4,500 or 8 payments of $625. And you have to complete an application and enroll by January 31st if you want to receive over $1,500 in discount and bonuses. Okay, all right. So that's it. And I am so excited. And I think I already know some of you are enrolled in Mel and Jacqueline. And if you have any more questions, write to us and team is going to support you. And I hope, you really find the excitement somewhere you have and the strengths. The more you find it, the more you kindle it, and the more you focus on it, it glows. Where focus goes, where energy goes, it glows. And then where focus goes, it expands. So thank you so much for spending your time with us today. And I'm very, very grateful for having you here today. Thank you. Bye.